All right, hello and welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand, coming at you live this week from Texas Motor Speedway. Once again in the booth, we've got BSR Pockets, we've got BSR Hot Rod, and special guest this week, HB Hardy. How you guys doing?
What up? Howdy from
Hey.
Texas.
We've got quite a bit to get through today. There are a lot of new picks. There was a lot of jerky handed out in the last couple of weeks. We've received some new picks from drivers who have gotten prizes recently from our racing we had at Talladega, and let's get it kicked off here. We're going to start out. Well, I think we're going to start out. If I can get this thing to change, there we go. Start out with a pick from BSR Pockets. Got his 4 bags of Drunken Cow jerky sitting up there in front of his wheel, and looks like he's got the Drunken Cow jerky page up in the background on his monitor. I notice you got a bag of Wolf Bites there. We know you got a dog. I see that hot Ghost. What other flavor you got hidden back there?
It's 2 bags of Wolf Bites.
Oh, you taking care of that dog.
Yeah, I have to keep enough on hand because every time I eat some Drunken Cow jerky, she thinks she needs to too, and she does. So I had to kind of divide it up there. So that's what that's all about.
So remind me, which prize were these 4 bags for?
These 4 bags were for. Good question. Second place somewhere.
Was it the
Breast
Kathy
cancer
Boyles
awareness.
breast cancer
Yes,
awareness?
yes. Second place. That's right. From Brian and Kathy Boyles and everyone at Boyles Trucking. That's where those came from, right there. It sure is. I'm telling you, we've given away so much jerky. I am almost completely lost. I have to. It's a trick trying to figure it all out, isn't it? We were just talking about that before we climbed up on the spotter stand here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start writing it down who got what from which race, because we spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what exactly all these jerky prices were for, and it took us a bit, but I think we got most of them down. Next up.
Yeah, I have a lot of it written down, but it's still confusing.
Well, next we've got a pick from BSR Bama. He's got 3 bags of jerky there, 2 bags of original, and a bag of teriyaki sitting right behind his keyboard, right up in front of his monitor. And looks like he's got a race car there in the background as well. Seems to be a lot of racing themes. Who's surprised? A bunch of racers here. And these 3 bags, I believe, were for the breast cancer awareness series.
Yes,
Correct?
it was. Yes, the Kathy Boyles Breast Cancer Awareness Challenge. That's where he got those prizes from.
And we appreciate Bama and everybody for sending these in so that we can get them out and show them to everybody here. Next up, we have got BSR Brain Fade. Got quite a few picks from Brain Fade here. And Brain Fade's got 2 bags. This is from the Talladega race. It was the truck race that got moved over to Friday. There was jerky awarded for this race as well. Brain Fade finished in 3rd place and got himself 2 bags of jerky there, bag of original and a bag of teriyaki, it looks like. And Brain also received some more jerky. He also, as you remember from last week or the week before on the spotter stand, Brain was the Drunken Cow Jerky Late Model Dirt Series champion. And with that championship came 5 bags of Drunken Cow Jerky. And there he is, proudly holding up those 5 bags. So Brain kind of inundated. He's got a lot of jerky right now, 7
He's
bags.
flush. He is flush with Drunken Cow jerky.
Well, you notice he didn't get any wolf bites for that concrete dog there.
No, that dog's on its own. We've already determined that. But
What's up, Momo? We see you out there in the chat box, and I see Trish, BSR Rugrat, also out there. Welcome, guys. Glad you guys could join us. I've got a couple more picks here from Brain. Here he is holding up his plaque that he received from Brian and Kathy Boyles. This was for the championship of the late model dirt series. And we've got a close-up pic of this plaque as well. There's the close-up champion DCJ Dirt Series, Mark BSR Brain Fade Gerard. Congrats on that championship, Brain. That was a fairly long series. I mean, there were quite a few races mixed in there in between the truck series when the trucks were off. And Mark Brain Fade did a great job, pulling off some great consistent finishes and bringing home that championship. Great job, man.
I think that was 14 races, wasn't
13.
it, Larry?
13.
13 races at all kinds of different dirt tracks all over the country, and it was a great series. Bomb Squad Racing provided the Drunken Cow Jerky, and our good friends Kathy and Brian Voiles at Voiles Trucking awarded him the plaque for that series. That, like Texan said, that was the fill-in series on the off nights of the truck series on Wednesday night. We ran a dirt series, and Brain Fade walked away with some nice hardware and some nice Drunken Cow Jerky prizes.
And we've got still a few more to go here. Let's see who's next. Oh, that's me. I was lucky enough to get one of these Boyles Trucking plaques. I won the very last Boyles Trucking Truck Series. As you know, we're running dirt on Saturday night now, and last season was the very last truck series by Brian Boyles and Kathy Boyles, the Boyles Trucking. And I was lucky enough to bring home that championship in that 10 race series. And there's a pic of me. Of course, I've got my Polar Bear 500 shirt on there. I know all you guys remember that race. A lot of you have also got t-shirts from that Polar Bear 500. And I've got a close-up pic of this plaque as well. Champion, Boyles Trucking Truck Series, Clef BSR Texan Douthit. And I'm proud to have that. Pockets, you gave me a hard time earlier this year about not having one of these Boyles Trucking plaques. Well, there you go, man. I got mine.
I got you motivated and got up on that wheel and got you one of them, didn't you?
That's right.
Well, just through the discussions we were having, we discovered that you didn't have one, but you've got one now, don't you?
Absolutely. It's already hanging on my wall up here, right above the cup trophy from last season, and hopefully I'll be lucky enough to add another one of those to the collection at the end of this series. I just jinxed myself. Let me knock on some wood here.
You better.
Points are getting really close in some of these series.
You also got some delicious Drunken Cow Jerky prizes for that went along with that too, but you actually took them out in the public and it didn't last very long, did it?
No, I took those to work with me. I didn't take a picture before I did. I won 5 bags of jerky for that, and those disappeared in one day. They lasted not even the whole day, I think. So, yeah, I like to share it and, maybe pass along the news of how great that jerky is. Maybe some other folks will decide they want to go to drunkencowjerky.com and get some for themselves. So I figured I'd take it up to work with me, and sure enough, they all loved it, man. It disappeared quick.
There you go. Now that right there is what you call a true ambassador for the brand. The driver of the original 201 BSR Texan takes his jerky prizes out and shares the jerky love, with all the people out there so that maybe they can learn how great and outstanding Drunken Cow Jerky is. So good job, Texas.
Thank you. We've got a couple more here. Let's see. Next up, there's Tricia, the BSR Rugrat, with 3 bags of Drunken Cow Jerky. It's our great broadcaster. Been doing a great job for us here lately and broadcasting every one of the races. Now, this was a recent prize, was it not, Larry? Which was this, a drawing or?
He don't know.
No, it was. I don't even remember what it was for. I got so much jerky.
See, he's just completely full of jerky.
Well, there's worse things he could be full of.
Absolutely. What was that, Larry? That was 3 bags for, was that a third place? Let's see.
I think that was Not sure what it was for, Pockets. I can't remember.
See, that's what we were talking about earlier. We've given away so much jerky that I mean, I've got it written down, but it would take me probably forever to figure it out. But anyway, I do have it written down. That's how it. Here's the deal. Once it gets shipped, I kind of forget about it, and move on to the next one because we've even got more jerky given away this week. It's insanity.
Well, I noticed that she's keeping with the racing theme with that shirt she's got on there. I was talking to Larry about that earlier. He said that shirt is actually signed by a driver.
Yes, that is signed by Joey Saldana. He used to race for Casey Kane. Hence the number 9. The number 9's on the shirt that you can't quite see, but that's the number 9 sprint car.
If you actually
I can hear her trying to say something back there, Larry.
If you look at the shoulder, the jerky's not on real close. You can actually see the autograph.
You get that?
Got it.
Yes, we did hear it.
Okay. And the jerky was from second place in the dirt series that Brain Fade won.
There we go. The Drunken Cow Jerky Dirt Series, Wednesday night dirt series. There you go.
I had to go back and check, and that's what it was for.
There you go.
We do have just a couple more to share with you here before we get on to the racing of last week. Let's see if we can remember what this jerky was for. This is
It's like a game. Let's
Yeah.
remember who we give this jerky. What we give them jerky for?
This is a pic of Steve Looney with some 3 bags of Drunken Cow jerky there. And it looks like he's got, look at that. Look at all those trophies on the desk back there.
I was noticing that.
Yeah.
He got him a little stash going back there, doesn't he?
What did Steve win this jerky for?
Steve Looney won this jerky in the drawing of the Kathy Voice Breast Cancer Awareness Challenge event that we had. He was one of the lucky drawing recipients.
Yeah, and Steve sent us along another pic as well. Steve's dog here and a bag of wolf bites in the background. And
Yep.
yeah, I think this is the first picture of a dog I've seen that seems more interested in the camera than the jerky.
Yep, that's
Because-
Gracie. He had to take care of Gracie. Got her some
That-
wolf bites.
That just proves that the dog hasn't had no wolf bites yet. That's all that means. Once he gives her a piece of that wolf bites, it'll be no longer camera focus. It'll be wolf bites.
I can't remember. I think he might have gotten some before. I think he did get some before, but I'll tell you what's going on here. I'll tell you how that happens. He's got the camera, but he's got a wolf bite in his other hand. That's what's going on here.
Yeah.
I can assure you. That's why that dog's not paying attention to that bag, because he's like, look here, and then takes a picture. I know, I've been there. I've done it.
Rugrat just noticed that. She just said that, Buck. She said, look, the bag's open. He's holding
Yeah,
a piece in his hand.
He's
Yeah.
holding the piece. That's where the attention is. So I guarantee it. Steve would back us up on that story there. So yeah, that's how that's going down.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It looks like that bag has been opened. So yeah, you're definitely probably right there. Well, we appreciate Steve for sending these in, and all the other drivers who've sent in pics of their jerky prizes here recently and their plaques. We're going to have some more coming up for you next week, because there's still some jerky that was awarded, quite a bit more that was awarded this past week at Texas, and still some boomerangs that should be arriving sometime this week for a few guys. I'm sure we'll get some pics of those on for you guys next week at the Spotter Stand. Well, let's move on to the racing from last week.
Texas week, baby. You know a little bit about Texas, don't you? There, Texan.
A little bit. It's I've actually driven Texas once before. I was lucky enough to get a 10-lap ride around Texas Motor Speedway. I got to drive the number 40 Coors Light, an old
Craig
car.
B's car.
Yeah,
Craig
Craig
B.
B's
The Craig
car.
B ride. There you go.
Yeah, and Texas was basically as big a week for us as Talladega was. There was like a series within the three different series going on, and a lot of jerky prizes that were awarded over this past week of racing. On top of our normal chase races, where we run Texas in all three series, we combined all three of these races, Truck, Cup, and Xfinity, into one mini series. And the top three, after the points were combined from all three series, also won some jerky this week. And on top of that, there were, three more drawings, I believe, as well as the top three. We also had a few other drivers that won jerky in drawings.
Yes, we had several drivers that won jerky and drawings, and just as just as normal around here, people started winning jerky, and then they in the middle of the drawing, and then they started turning around and giving it away, and people were winning races. And Rick Johnson won some jerky and throwed it back into the drawing pools just to make it more interesting for the people who didn't actually win. So that's what you've got dealing with here. So we've got several different drawings and several different prize winners, and it's just Rick Craddock and Real Tech stepped up this week to help us celebrate at Texas. Texas is the home state of not only a couple of our longtime drivers, but of our wonderful sponsor Mark and Richard Heyman's hometown down in Dallas. And so that's why we show out on Texas Week. Yeah, it's ever been as big or bigger than Talladega Week.
Howdy, Randy. See you out there in the chat. And Brain Fade as well. And thanks. I know I love that Polar Bear 500 shirt. I know you've got one of those too, Brain. So, as Pocket said, Texas is a big week for us, being the home of our sponsor, Drunken Cow Jerky. So each of these three races were dedicated. Wednesday night was the Heyman Brothers 200 at Texas Motor Speedway. We ran the trucks, and we are now 8 races, into the chase in the truck series. And the winner in the truck series at Texas was BSR Axel Foley in that number 47 Innovative Vapors ride. Ever since he's put that Innovative Vapors on that car, he has really stepped up his game, and he's brought home quite a few victories here recently. We've been talking about him on the spotter stand quite a lot, and great job by Axel in that truck on Wednesday night to bring home that win.
Yes, great job, Axel. Rick Craddock second, Texan third, Poor Boy fourth, and Pockets rounds out top 5.
All right, so Pockets got a 5th in that race. Is that right?
Oh no, here we go.
No,
it's already started.
Well, y'all are going to want to keep up with that a little bit. That's a 5th place. All right, so yes, and congratulations. I'll tell you something else, Texan. We're talking about that Innovative Vapors sponsorship has picked it up. I'll tell you what else has picked it up for the 47 truck. We're in the chase. He's put himself in the points. He's put himself into contention, and I think the majority of what you're seeing is that cat's going for a championship, or he's taking a run at it. So he is taking a run at it in several series. So he's performing when he needs to perform, and we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, absolutely he is. Let's take a look at the points with just 2 races to go in the Truck Series chase.
Let's look and see what that says.
I still hold the top spot, and actually a pretty decent lead over Axel Foley, who has moved up a spot to take over second place with that victory, down by 23 points. You got Brain Fade, who also moved up a spot, take over third, down by 34. Pockets with the 5th place finish moved up a spot to take over 4th, down by 39. And Terry Scott, with the bad luck this week, dropped 3 spots to take over 5th place, down by 44.
Texas was good to some and miserable for others. And I'll tell you, Terry Scott had a horrible night there. Is that the night he lost his motor?
Yeah, I believe that is.
So.
Yeah, he lost his motor and finished way in the back of the field there because he lost it kind of early. So that was a bad luck in the chase that he didn't need to see and probably wasn't anticipating at Texas. I mean, who would have thought? But it's just one of those things.
Yeah, he
Yep,
was.
and that was most definitely the race he blew motor in. It
Yep.
says accident on the score sheet, but he blew motor. He was out really early.
Well,
He
I
was the
tell you,
first car out, actually.
Axel's got a good hold on second place there, and mathematically, it's possible Texan's probably going to be holding his breath for the next 2 weeks, especially this week going headed to Phoenix, because Phoenix is just a little bit different track than we normally run. But I feel like you're probably pretty confident about Phoenix. But anything can happen, and that's mathematically doable right there. You got to keep an eye on that cat because he's taking a shot.
Oh yeah, and it's those races where you feel pretty confident going in. I run pretty well at Phoenix, whether it be trucks or Cup, um, and it seems to be those where you feel confident that you're going to have a good race. That's when things can go wrong for you. And we've been getting some good turnouts here. 18, 20 drivers in these races. So bad race, and Axel can make almost all of that up in one race. So yeah, it's not sewn up or wrapped up. That's for sure. I'm going to be watching and trying to do everything I can just to have a decent finish.
Yeah, check out Brain Fade there in third place, man. Great run this season. Great performance in the chase. Has put himself in third place right there. Battling with myself to see who can come out on top right there. And that top five, man, I tell you make it in that top five, that's a big deal. That's tough to do, to be up there with those guys.
Well, I believe the top 3 at the end of the season all get a little bit of jerky out of this, don't they?
Yes, they do. They most certainly do. So that's the cutoff spot right there where Brain's setting in. That's the last spot to secure some great jerky products from Drunken Cow Jerky. So there'll be a fight for that with 2 races left.
Oh yeah, 'cause there you are sitting only 5 points behind Brain, and you got Terry Scott, who is going to be hungry, and he's sitting back there 44 points down, 10 spots out of third place. So 2 races to go. It's going to be a fight for those top 3, and like I said, it's not wrapped up. One of these guys could come in and take this championship away from you.
And I tell you what's great about being even fighting for third place. I mean, most people are paying attention to first and second place, and from the driver's seat, it's pretty interesting. It's very interesting to note that about 6 or 7 races ago, Brain and I have been, as well as Larry also, we've been real close in the points all year long. Whenever we go personally to the standings and look, of course, we notice the people around us. And about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I started noticing when I pulled up, when I encountered the 49 car on the track, there wasn't any there. Normally you get the, hey, go ahead and pass me low, or come on around. I started noticing when I could see the 49 car and he could see me in his mirror that he started picking it up a little bit. You can just tell these things, and we haven't even discussed it or talked about it. You can just tell by the racing on the track that we are obviously neck and neck in the points, because you can see a guy kind of get up on that wheel a little bit when he's maybe been kind of just riding a little bit when you come up to him. So that's been a fun part of this.
Yeah, Brain Fade has had a good run this season and a pretty good run in the chase, trying to hold on to one of those top 3 spots. And yeah, like you said, he's watching those points too. So he wants a little bit more of that jerky. Brain was the one, if you recall, last week that typed in there, can you possibly have enough jerky? And as we can see, 7 bags, not enough for him. He's going to go for some more in this series.
Well, he's had about 5 of them for about 3 or 4 days. Or about a week. I'm just wondering how many he's got left. He's probably taking it easy, making it last and stuff like that. But that's one of those things that I always tell people: if you're going to order some, order twice what you think you're going to want, because you're going to eat it that fast, and then you ain't going to have any if you don't do what I tell you. So that's the perfect way to order that.
I see Julian out there in the chat box. OKJ says he's going to try to make it to Phoenix next week. He's going to be fast. That'll be a driver to beat. Of course, he says if he has power. Apparently, he's been having having some power issues out there. So, we'll be looking for you on the track next week there, KJ. He's only got 2 more bags, he says, Pockets.
Oh, he's got 2 more on the way.
Oh, he's got
Yep, me too.
That's right, he does. So he's going to have 9 bags that he's won in the last couple of weeks.
We've given away so much jerky. We give away a ton this week.
Let's move on and take a look at Thursday night. Thursday night
And we'll
is
talk some more about this jerky because here it comes.
Yeah.
This is where the
Thursday night being the Cup Series. This was a jerky race, and beef jerky was awarded to the winner of this race. This was also a special, like we said at Texas, each one of these had their own special event. And this was the Mark Heyman 200 at Texas Motor Speedway in the Cup Series. And the winner in the Cup Series, as we had mentioned earlier, was BSR Ricky J. And that number 193, Voiles Trucking Ford Fusion, brought home the victory and 5 bags of Drunken Cow jerky. And he was generous enough to donate that jerky back into the pot, which was added to the drawings that we had on Friday night at the end of the Real Tech Texas Challenge. So great job on the victory, Rick, and thanks for throwing that jerky back in there. All the guys that are going to receive some of that, they're all definitely going to appreciate that. So awesome victory, and great job, Rick.
who was second, third, fourth, fifth.
I was getting there. Hang on. Ricky J with a good win. Danny Hardy, HB Hardy, second, third. Momo with fourth, and Axel rounds out the top 5.
All right, so what that means is this was the Mark Heyman 200. Mark Heyman, CEO, Drunken Cow Jerky, our good friend, the magician behind the product there. This race was sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky, so that means the winner got 5 bags, as Texan referred to. He kicked it back to the drawing. Danny Hardy, HB Hardy finished second, third. They'll receive some Drunken Cow Jerky products of their choice. And then so we had a drawing. And it looks like Larry 1-2, Brain Fade 1-2, Magoo
Got 3 because
Got
I
3,
forwarded
yes.
my bag, and then Brain
Yeah,
Fade forwarded
Brain
a
Fade
bag.
forwarded a bag. And Monty Killer got 2. And yes, the forwarding of the bags stopped at Magoo. He took his 3 and did not forward any. But we all said we didn't blame him either, because the reason that Larry and Brain Fade forwarded theirs though is because, just like we were talking about, Brain Fade's got 9 bags. So
Yeah, and when I get that 2, that'll put me at 15 total. So
yeah,
that's
so
why.
that's Monty Killer out there in California, he gets 2 bags. Nelly up in Minnesota, he gets 2 bags.
Now that
So,
was the Friday night drawing, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still on Thursday night, but
Yeah, Thursday night there was no drawing. That was just the prizes. The prizes that Drunken Cow Jerky provided. And so basically second and third place, Danny Hardy and HB Hardy is going to be getting jerky for that.
now I noticed through that top 5, I didn't hear Pocket's name in that top 5.
Where was he though, Larry?
Where did Pockets finish in this race?
7th.
7th place. All right.
So we had what, a
5th
a 5th and a
and
7th.
a 7th. Yes.
Well, Pockets
So-
must have had a good race on Friday night.
We'll just everybody keep track here. That's a 5th place Wednesday night and a 7th place Thursday night.
Go to the standings.
Yeah, we have. We've been talking a lot about this Texas stuff going on, but this is still a chase race in the Cup Series.
Yes,
So
it is.
We are now 8 races down, 2 races to go in the chase, and let's see how the points stand. They did tighten up this week, that's for sure.
We had some things going on, didn't we?
Yeah. My race was not that great. I had kind of a bad race in the Cup Series at Texas. I still hold the lead, but Axel Foley moved up to second place, only down by 5 points.
Oh,
Yeah, Rick Craddock dropped to third place, also with a little trouble there at the end of that race. Still only down by 8 points. You got Terry Scott in fourth, down by 12, and BSR Momo rounding out the top 5, down by 15. So 2 races to go. It's very close up here at the front. Axel, Rick are within single digits. And you got Terry Scott and Momo sitting back there, not too far off the lead either. I mean, that's going to be close. This championship is up in the air for sure with just 2 races to go.
and if everyone will remember back to when we started the chase and we did the bonus points, and everybody got their bonus points that had attended the races and got their wins and stuff like that. And here we are with 2 races to go. Tell me that this point system is not a thing of beauty, because I mean, look at that. 2 races to go. Now that's what you want to see as a race promoter, or people putting on a race or something like that, putting on these series and stuff like that. That's what you want to see right there, because we're headed to Phoenix, and that's it's going to be very interesting. I'm just going to be glad to be there and see it transpire, because that's going to be something to see right there, because everybody's going to have to be, they're going to have to be up on their game, and they can't make no mistakes.
Yeah, this is going to come down to Homestead for sure. As close as these points are, there's no doubt it's going to be at least this close, probably going into Homestead. And some of these drivers may tighten up a little bit more up there in that top 5. So yeah, it's going to be a kind of a nerve-wracking race, I think, for me. Again, Phoenix usually a great track for me. I usually run pretty well, but it's when you go in expecting to do well that you may end up running into trouble. And man, I sure hope that doesn't happen to me this week, because I am still just 2 races away from pulling off a first in BSR history and being the first guy to bring home all 3 championships. So, man, I'm still trying to do that, and things are getting close, and yeah, it's on. I mean, we're there. 2 races to go.
That is a huge, huge goal to set right there, and if you can pull that off, that will be it will be something that will be remembered for a long time. You will be etched in the history books. I will guarantee it. And they'll sing your praises. And I tell you, you see in real racing and the real NASCAR racing, they're having these elimination rounds and racing into. Let me tell you something about. You look right here and you tell me, as we have went along in these 10 races of the chase, that scoreboard right there has had its own elimination rounds and didn't need no help, and it's working out perfectly to where we go into Phoenix and we've got 5 people. Yeah, we've got 5 people right there. When by the time the race is over at Phoenix and we head to the finale in Homestead, there will probably be some eliminations, and we'll head into Homestead last race with the championship round. The scoreboard did all of that itself. So did we get lucky, or is that just a good design the way we did that?
Well, the scoring system, without a doubt, it is designed to, reward the drivers, first of all, going into the chase that do show up to almost every race all season long. But at the same time, it's not like they're being, gifted with tons of points. It was very close going into this chase as far as bonus points. There was several ties for several positions, and when you look at it right here, 5 drivers easily still could possibly bring home this championship. Even more than that, really. I mean, with 2 races to go, Steve Looney, Brain Fade, Pockets, even back to Hot Rod back there, 39 points back.
And Monty
Keller, 41. The top 10 really still feasibly have a shot at this championship. And I like not having the elimination. I mean, most of these guys, if we were doing the elimination rounds, over half of these drivers wouldn't even be eligible to win the chase right now. But one of these guys that are still back there, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place could still pop up and win a championship. And
Yep.
and I see Julian out there typing in the chat that maybe he should give some guys some sets this week. And I think you should just keep those to yourself. And nobody you don't need to help nobody out.
I'll gladly take one, Julian. Gladly. I need all the help I can get, especially after Texas.
Well, definitely don't give it to Axel Foley or Rick Craddock, or Terry Scott or Momo. I know Momo's out there watching. I don't need those
Momo got
guys.
a little something at Phoenix. He's got a little something at Phoenix. He's ready to head out west. I promise you.
Oh yeah, and so is Rick Craddock and Axel Foley. Axel's been running great lately in that Innovative Vapors car, and I know Rick Craddock is going to be tough at Phoenix as well, and Terry Scott. Basically everybody that you see up there towards the top. It's going to be a tough race. It's going to be, like I said, Phoenix is a little bit different track, so. We'll see what happens when we get through Phoenix next week. We'll see how the shakeup goes on this points board with just one race to go going into Homestead.
Well, this is exciting. This is going to be fun to watch. This is going to be, and like I was saying, this elimination thing, this scoreboard does its own, because like I said, when we leave Phoenix, there's going to be a couple of people in there that mathematically, yeah, but realistically, come on, you've been eliminated. Go race as hard as you can, but something would have to absolutely catastrophically happen to these guys up in the front couple of spots for that to happen. So you got to add that in. It ain't like those guys aren't going to race. So I do like the way this thing works out. This is going to be exciting.
Well, let's move on and take a look at Friday night. Friday night is the Xfinity Series, also ran at Texas Motor Speedway this week. And the Xfinity race was the Drunken Cow Jerky 200. Notice all three of these races, obviously sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky, being in the home state of Drunken Cow Jerky. And we ran the Xfinity Series at Texas, another great clean race at Texas. That's something we haven't mentioned yet. Most of these races here at Texas were pretty clean. They were good. We had, I don't think we had green flag pit stops on Friday night, but Wednesday night and Thursday night both we had green flag pit stops.
We had a green flag pit stop on Friday.
Did we have one on Friday as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all 3 nights we ended up with green flag stops, and I know in that Cup race we ran the first 40 some odd laps of that race before we had a caution. We had the green flag stops right off the bat. It was some great racing here this week at Texas. And here in the Drunken Cow Jerky 200 in the Xfinity Series, it was HB Hardy in that number 30 Thunder Back to Blue machine that brought home the victory. And that was a great race. Hardy started kind of toward the back in that race and had to make his way up through the field. It was nice and patient, made a lot of passes, passed a lot of cars, and once he got to the front, I don't think anybody had anything for him. I rode behind HB for quite a while, and I could hang with him, but there was pretty much no way I was going to get up and pass him. He had a great car and definitely a well-deserved victory. Great job, HB.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It took a while to get going because we had some cautions to start off, and my setup wasn't really anywhere near decent until maybe 5 to 6 laps in, and then it started to pick up. And once that happened, I just kind of ran away with it.
Yes, great win, HB. Pocket second, Ricky J third,
Who?
fourth, and
User joined your
RJ
channel.
Rusty rounds out the top 5.
Who finished what? Second? Did he
Yeah.
I
say
don't know what
me?
you're talking about.
I believe
Did
he
he say
said you
me?
finished third, did he not?
No, I think he
Second.
said I finished second.
Second
Yes, he did,
place.
second.
So we were keeping track of those finishes for pockets in the Texas races for a reason. We'll get to that here in just a little bit, though. I'm sure most of you guys already know what's going on. Welcome to the booth, BSR Magoo. Glad to have you, man. Glad you could join us.
Thanks. Good to be here. How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing good. One thing I wanted to mention while we've got HB's render still up here, this is one of the drivers. HB, absolutely a great racer. Very clean. Very seldom will you see HB get into another driver, cause a caution. and also very fast. I was talking with HB a little earlier this season, and I believe you had said your schedule may be changing pretty soon, HB, and you may be able to make some more of these races. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll be able to run the full season and at least the Thursday and Friday night races next season.
Yeah, and that right there is going to be big because HB being able to show up, that's a lot of the reason that you don't see him at the top of a lot of these points right now. It's just because of his work schedule and school schedule. He's not able to make the majority of the races. But when that changes next season, you can look to see HB up at the top of probably most of these seasons. Anything he's going to be able to make most of the races, and especially once it comes down to chase time, HB will definitely be a contender for a championship next year. I believe that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, another driver we've got out there in the chat, Julian KJ, another very fast driver. Of course, you got to keep those bush ices away from him. Otherwise, he may have a bad finish. But, if he can stay sober most of the race, that's another driver that if he could make most of these races, would also be in contention for a championship. And maybe we'll see a little bit more of him next season as well. Let's take a look here at these points. Also, 2 races away from the end of this series. We're now 8 races in to the chase in all 3 series. Currently, I still hold the top spot in this one as well. But once again, it is only a 5-point spread to second place. BSR Momo with a decent race at Texas moves up a spot to second place, only down by 5 points. BSR Terry Scott dropped back to third, down by 12. You got BSR Pockets there in fourth, down by 27, and BSR Brain Fade rounding out the top 5, down by 38. And there you are again, Pockets, just you and Brain and Larry all right up next to each other again in the points. You were mentioning that earlier, how you guys have been pretty much battling with each other all through the chase here. And there you are again in this series, all 3 of you very close in points.
And we have been battling all year long. It's just it just intensifies and ramps up the closer. And once you get into the chase, it's just, I'm always looking for that Carolina Reaper car or that teriyaki car, and those are drunken cow jerky cars, so they're easy to spot. And you kind of keep track of all that. And I got real lucky there Friday night. Ended up getting a second place finish, but just like you say, luck's part of it. I mean, that's just part of it. You can, it's interesting on the flip side of luck. Axel goes into that series leading by 9 points. I'm in second place. Third, fourth, fifth, the rest of y'all guys are right there within 5 points of second. And Axel has trouble and finishes dead last in that Friday night race and loses the championship by how many points?
Well, let's go and take a look here and see. That's why we were keeping track of Pockets finishes through all 3 of these Texas races, because
Actually ended up
BSR
losing, what, 8?
BSR Pockets did pull off the champion, Realtek LLC Texas Challenge champion. So out of the 3 Texas races we ran here in the chase, BSR Pockets with the best combined finishes brings home the championship, and some beef jerky for that, was there not?
That's absolutely right. Rick Craddock, everyone over at Realtek offered some great prizes for this little challenge series. He had come to me and wanted to do something special in the chase, and we're looking at going to Texas. That's one of our special places. So we just piled it all into Texas and just had all kinds of crazy things going on, like the Realtek Texas Challenge, where more jerky was given away. I think just this week, we talked last couple of weeks about all the jerky that we've given away. Over 24 bags of jerky just this week. So during this little Texas soiree that we had. So thanks to Mark Heyman, Drunken Cow Jerky, Rick Craddock, Realtek, and everybody that was a part of that. I am very proud of this because I've been having a little bit of a lackluster chase. I've had a terrible week at Talladega, but we were talking and I had said before, Larry, that whoever won the Real Tech Texas Challenge was going to walk out of Texas as the best car in Texas in the fall in 2018, and that would be yours truly. And the 38 team is very proud of that little deal.
Well, Scar put you up a great render there with all three of your cars, the truck, the Cup, and the Xfinity car. That's a great looking render and a great looking logo that he's got there for the Real Tech Texas Challenge. Yeah, well deserved. You did what you had to do, and you had some good, consistent finishes. You didn't run into trouble really in any of those three races, and well deserved. Great job.
Thank you very much. Like I said, thanks to Rick Craddock and Real Tech. They wanted to do something, and we figured that was a great spot to do it, right there in the middle of the chase. And that was a pivotal race. I mean, it really was. That thing has changed everything, because now it just sounds a little different when you say two races to go, Phoenix and Homestead. And so
Here's the other thing, Pockets. You had your bad luck Talladega week. I had my bad luck Texas week. We ain't seen Brain's bad luck yet. Just saying.
He's
Oh,
one to keep eye on.
You hear that out there, Brain? They're trying to throw the jinx on you here. You got to know Brain. Brain's a good. He seems to get those good consistent races in just about.
He is Mr. Consistency. Damn.
Yes, but you know how the luck thing goes. Once you catch it, it just seems to roll you around.
We're kind of sad to leave Texas, because I'm not really that excited about Phoenix, but we're gonna give it our best.
Yeah, I'm not real great with Phoenix either, Pockets, but I do know starting tomorrow morning I'm testing big time. So
let's take a look here at the points in this Real Tech LLC challenge, and let's see how everybody else did. It was BSR Momo that brought it home in second place, actually a tie for second place after three races between Momo and Ricky J, both down by 6. And Axel, with the bad race on Friday night, dropped all the way back to fourth place, down by 8. Magoo, who just joined us here on the spotter stand, rounded out the top 5, down by 9. Great job there, Magoo.
What's up, Echo?
Yeah, man, congratulations on that win there, that Texas Championship, Pockets.
Thank you. I just walked out of you boys' home state carrying the trophy right next door, back over here where we get some use out of it. So I appreciate all that. That was some great stuff. I'm proud of that Texas deal.
Well, at least it didn't go too far out of Texas. You're just right next door over there.
It's just right next door, and I'm sure that this little kind of deal right here is probably going to be there. People are going to want to do this next year. Rick Craddock, everybody at Real Tech is going to remember this. That was a good way to celebrate Texas Week, I thought, and it was a good deal.
Yep. All in all, it was good racing all week, even though I had horrible luck.
And look at that score. I mean, tied for second place. We had to determine that by finishing orders or something, however we determined that. But that was exciting.
It was best finishes, even though Ricky J had got the win on Thursday night. He didn't have such great luck on the other 2 nights, and Momo actually had better overall finishes than Ricky J if you combined them all. Better average finish, so that's why he got the second place spot there, and Ricky J ended up with the third place.
Yes, and there was a lot of jerky given away. I got 5 bags, and then 3 bags to Momo, and Ricky J got some and put it out for a drawing. And let's see, Magoo got the 3 bags. That's where Magoo got the 3 bags, and
I got 2, Brain Pig got 2, and
Nelly got 2. We had some drawings.
Monte Keller.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, all in all, between everything that we've done just this week at those races at Texas, over 24 bags of jerky going out all across the United States to racers who come in here and support this league and these races and have a good time.
Yeah, 24 bags this past week, and then what did we count? Like somewhere around 50 bags during the Talladega week that went out.
Yes,
And-
61.
And by the time you get to the end of the season here, plus we've had jerky that's been awarded all season long. It's going to be well over 100 bags of jerky, probably in the range of 150 bags or so that have been given away over the season, maybe more than that.
Oh, it's probably closer to 200. I will assure you. You figure in the Brian Voiles stuff and everything like that. Yeah, it's over 200 easy.
Well, let's move on and take a look at the late night Friday night race. It is the Empire State Dirt Track Championship Series, sponsored by Brian and Kathy Voiles over at Voiles Trucking. And late night Friday night ran at Fonda once again. And the victory there goes to BSR Ricky J with 2 victories this week. One at Texas Motor Speedway and bringing home another victory in the late night series Friday night in the dirt. Great job, Ricky J.
Yes, good win, Ricky J. And it was Hot Rod, Chevy Chase, Brain Fade, and the Mr. Magoo rounds out the top 5.
Where about go?
Picking it up.
What do you think about that dirt racing there, Mr. Magoo?
Man, I just love the dirt racing. That's to me, that's when we get to kind of let our frustrations out of whatever did or didn't happen on the asphalt. That's where our camaraderie really comes into play, but still got a high competition level. Love the dirt racing.
Yeah,
I get to let all my NASCAR frustrations out in the dirt.
And that's like Magoo was saying about the camaraderie. As much beating and banging that goes on in the dirt, everybody still really has a great time at these races. It's a lot of fun, and I'm kind of glad we moved it on to Saturday night as well, because with my work schedule, I can no longer race the late night Friday night races, but I can make it on Saturday night, and I've been enjoying this dirt. I'm glad I can still run some.
I enjoyed that track we ran Friday night. It's the first time I had touched it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was different than the tracks we've run in the past.
You would like all the tracks in the New York schedule or HB. They're all ultra competitive. There's a little bit of outside line in all of them. They're not all one group tracks. You can make some moves on the outside to all the tracks in that series.
Bad thing about it is you're a quick learner. To be your first time on it, I was riding in your car a lot. You were putting lap times down like some people's best queue times, so you'll be something to watch there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I enjoyed that track.
So how many races into this series are we now?
We're at 9 to 10. 1 to go.
9 or 10, 1 race to go. Let's take a look at the points with just 1 race to go in this series. Looky there, BSR Chevy Chase moved up 2 spots to take over the lead with just 1 race to go. Looks like Brain Fade still holding right there in second place, only down by 2 points. BSR Hot Rod moved up a spot to third, only down by 5. BSR Brian Voiles, looks like he had the bad luck this last Friday, moved down 3 spots to 4th, down by 8, and Pockets rounding out the top 5, down by 57. That's pretty close points right there with 9 races on the board and only 1 race to go. It definitely is coming down to the last race of the season to see who's going to be the champion of this series.
Yes, this race will be determined at Canandaigua, one of the best tracks on this list, too.
Man, that's 4 of the top right there, right where they said, right where they need to be. I mean, that's the guys who've been bringing it every race, and there they are, and it goes down to the last race. That's going to be ultra exciting.
Yeah, there won't be no love at the front. I guarantee that.
Chevy Chase, he going for 2 in a row in the dirt?
No.
Or is that going to be? Or is he going for his first dirt?
First.
Oh,
First. Yeah.
Brain we just talked about. Brain just picked up the Drunken Cow Jerky one, so he's a contender. He knows how to get things done.
Yep, you got 2 past champions in that top 4. You have 2 past champions and 2 non-champions, first-time champions. Mr. Chevy Chase and Brian Bowles have not won a championship. Me and the Brain Fade have won one dirt championship along the way. So
Yeah, and I see two drivers up there who have recently received quite a bit of jerky, BSR, Brain Fade, and Hot Rod, both up there looking to get some more at the end of this season.
that's
But
right.
that 096, that 096, don't count him out when it comes to jerky time.
Oh no, I don't. Oh no. It's Chevy's championship. We got to get it away from him. We got to wrestle it, and we all know how hard Chevy is, and he's going to be 6 cars wide, and he's going to make it hard. I guarantee that.
Yeah, he's somewhere practicing right now. I
Yeah,
can assure you.
yep, almost guarantee it. Almost.
Well, let's move on to a night I know Hot Rod has been looking forward to here.
Who?
Let's take a look at the Saturday night Team Series Battle of the Six Flavors. Well into season number 36 now. We've got only 2 races to go. Is that right?
I believe
Yes,
so.
yes, 2 races to go
I
in the
believe
Saturday
so.
night series.
And we are 8 races into this 10-race season number 36. And this week at Daytona, it was BSR Hot Rod and that number 65 original flavored Drunken Cow Jerky Machine who brought home the win for his team. That was a great race, almost caution free. I believe we only had, maybe 2? Did we have a late race caution? Oh, we had 1 for a blown motor, a little past halfway. And then I think we did have a late race caution, ended up racing back to the line. And BSR Hot Rod brought home the victory for that original team. Great job, man.
Yes, thanks. I appreciated all the help from you and SS. I definitely couldn't have won without you guys. And right before the big accident happened, you and SS shot to the bottom to try and get around me, which would have worked had not been for the big accident. So
Yeah, we were definitely, we were riding behind you there, going to push you along for a while, but no doubt we were going for that win because we were still a little bit behind that Reaper team. And yeah, we, just last minute there, we were dropping down to the bottom, and I think SS kind of bumper hooked, I believe it was Brian Bulls from the Beer Bacon team, and I think that took out pretty much everybody that was behind you and I, Larry, and then it just came back to a race to the line between you and me. And I made the move so quick, because I knew you were going to try to block me right there, which, that's what you should do. So I tried to get down there so quick that you wouldn't have the opportunity. And man, that really just made my car just wobble side to side, and that really scrubbed some speed there. And I didn't have anything.
Plus, I squashed your door really good too, and I kind of took your side draft at you, and that didn't help you either.
Yeah, you did a great job. I mean, even though I had the bottom, I wasn't able to get around you in 3 and 4, and you took the victory all the way back to the line. So that was a great race, and it was a great finish. Let's take
let me say something real quick. Larry pulled one of the most impressive moves I've ever seen at a super speedway race to take that lead. And Texan, you were right there with him, following him through that. And he threaded the needle, and he took that win. We've talked all week long. Frustration at Texas was terrible for Larry, because Larry will be the first person to tell you he had a horrible time at Texas, because we even argued over him finishing. He told me he finished last in one race, and I didn't believe him, and sure enough, he did. So he had been saying all week long that he didn't have anything to lose, and he proved it Saturday night. So that was a great win, Larry.
Yeah, my best finish in Texas was 14th.
Well, that was a great move after that last round of green flag pit stops. We were coming out drafting, Larry and I, and I believe SS and a few other cars. We were already up to speed, and a couple of late pitters that had just come out of pit were racing each other side by side as we were drafting up on them, and we had a big run. So there wasn't going to be any checking up or slowing down to ride behind those guys. And I believe it was Ray 50 that sort of started drifting up. We were going to go all the way up to the top in that high lane, and Ray started drifting up into that lane a little bit, which the Vroom ran out really quick, and Larry had to make a last-minute decision on what to do, and he shot that gap right through the middle of those two cars, and just made it through there. And I followed him right through. That was a great move to move back into the lead there and stay up there to the end.
And that move was also a little bit possible. Ricky J also, he moved down. If he had not moved down, I don't know that we would have made it through there. Well, I was going.
Yeah, we were
Regardless,
coming
I
one
was
way or
going.
the other, whether there was room or not. That there wasn't any checking up at that point right there. We had to go through there, and yeah, you did a great job making it through the middle there. Let's take a look at the points with just 2 races to go. They have tightened up a little bit. The Carolina Reaper team still holds the top spot with Ghost in second place, only backed by 6. The Hot team in third, only backed by 8. Then you've got Original with that victory moved up a spot to 4th, down by 30. Beer Bacon holding on to 5th place, down by 36. And Teriyaki rounding out the field, down by 68.
2 races to go, and look at that. That's and tensions were already really high there Saturday. I mean, you could just feel it in the air Saturday night that it is crunch time. It's time to perform. And those finishes. That's what's so interesting. There was a representative from each flavor, and even the team that's back quite a ways. They're still out there saying, you know what, we're here for our team, and we're here to represent, we're here to put this car in victory lane. We may not win this championship, but we can win this race, and that's what we're going to do. And that's what the Foot Doctor did there Saturday night. And it's just all the different scenarios are still there, Texan. It's getting even more interesting now. Then you could see that Carolina Reaper struggled a little bit, but that might have been their one race to struggle. 2 to go. What's your thoughts?
Well, they may have struggled a little bit, but I think they rallied back in the end of that race, even though they were struggling a little bit mid-race. After that one caution, they were able to catch back up, and the Ghost team did bring home second place to Original. I can't remember if it was Reaper or Hot that finished in third, but I know Reaper was either third or 4th place.
Hot was third.
Hot was third.
And Reaper got 4th.
Yeah, and Reaper brought home 4th place. So, that's still not too bad. Even that's probably one of their worst races of the season with a 4th place finish right there. And but 2 races to go. We got 6 points and 8 points back. I guarantee you that Ghost team and Hot team are going to be battling against each other while we're both trying to overtake that Reaper team at the same time. So, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be hard to figure out who to work with in these last 2 races because we've got 3 teams up there, and Reaper, they're just going to take whichever line's going to take them to the front. And Ghost and Hot is we want to kind of try to work together to be in front of that Reaper team. At the same time, we want to be in front of the other team as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2 races left here in this series.
You know what's really crazy? I remember last week you and Pockets were talking about that Reaper team, how you get them split up, and they kind of like they kind of move to the line. It's moving, and they'll break themselves up and that kind of stuff because they like to stick together. And I watched them do that during that race. It was pretty amazing. They were all together on the bottom, and the high line was everybody else. And they were down there by themselves, and then they cut up into the high line, and they kind of split up. And DJ got a lap down, and they were spread out all over the place. But then they seemed to manage to find their way back together and get back up to front.
Yeah, those 3 guys have been working together really well all season long. DJ and Ray 50, they've been racing with each other way back since the CRT days. So those 2 guys, they've always worked well together. And Steven, he was another member of CRT, has also raced with those guys quite a bit. Those 3 drivers, they've just really been hooking up and working together really well all season long. It's not going to be easy to beat those guys.
Well, you can't make any mistakes either. You make a mistake on that first pit stop, and it's over because they're not going to have a caution. I'm convinced that you have really got to look at that race differently than you do other super speedway races, because you better be ready. Because if you get a black flag for speeding on pit road, some other people are going to do that. You're still going to be fighting for positions, but you're not going to be up in those top positions because those guys are nailing it and getting business done on Saturday night. I mean, it's just, and 2 races left to go with those points. Texan, you think there's going to be a fight before it's all over with?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I'm finding it harder and harder to find anybody to sell anything to, as these races wind down.
They're absolutely getting rude whenever you try to sell them something now, aren't they, with 2 to go?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, this was one of those rare races where usually when the packs kind of separate after green flag stops, the lead pack is usually able to pull away. They'll pick up some lap cars and their pack kind of grows and they're able to pull away. But this is one of those rare races where that second pack was actually a little bit bigger than the first pack. And over the course of a full fuel run was actually able to draft back up and catch up to that lead pack. So, you can't count on that caution flag to come out to catch you back up, and you got to do everything you can to try to keep your pack drafting. And if you're in that second pack, you really gotta run tight and draft as best you can to try to get back up there to that lead draft.
Well, that series is just ultra exciting, as it always has been, and it creates some great racing and great fun. And we'll head there next Saturday night and get out to business and see what happens.
Yeah, I also got really lucky because me and Brain had put it together, and I had thought Brain for some reason was ahead of me on pit road, and he was actually behind me, and I got turned sideways on a pit stop and had got separated out of that second pack, but about 4 laps after that, I believe is when the only caution of the race, well, the first caution of the race came out for the blow motor, which kind of saved me. If it had not been for that, I would have been done.
Well, let's move on and take a look at the late night Saturday race. The Boyles Trucking Dirt Series running on Saturday night. We're just running a short little season here to kind of end up in this season at the same time the Friday night season is going to end. That way those 2 series can restart at the same time and end at the same time in this next season. And we did race again at the Devil's Bowl this Saturday night, and it was our own HB Hardy, another driver, bringing home his second victory in this week, along with Rick Johnson. HB brings home 2 victories this week, one at Texas and one at the Devil's Bowl. That was another great race in the dirt. HB with a great car did a great job holding on to that lead and bringing home the win. Great job, HB.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. We had quite a few new faces there, which kind of chopped it up a little bit, and it was a lot of fun getting to race around some newer people with different driving styles.
There were a lot of people in that dirt race, boy.
I think we had 15 or something like that.
14.
Yes, 14 at the Devil's Bowl.
Yeah, and Gordo made it around again. Was able
Yes,
to,
he did. Yeah.
He raced a little bit in the Saturday night team series and made it to the dirt series along with quite a few other drivers that we don't normally get to see in the dirt. It was fun to have, 14 drivers in there. It was some great racing. It was a lot of fun.
We had Gordo and Randy and Steven doesn't normally run with us. Yep.
In all seriousness, and I am being 100% serious when I say this, Gordo ran in the Saturday Night Team Series race, and he also stuck around and ran in the dirt. And that guy is one of the biggest legendary figures in NASCAR racing in 2003. And if I have to explain to you why Gordo is a legendary figure, well, then you haven't been around this sim nowhere near long enough or know what you need to know. And to have him step off into our server, to leave where he calls home and he goes someplace else, and the first stop is in the Bomb Squad Racing server, that right there will tell you everything you need to know. He is as big a legend in this sim as there's ever been. Dale Jr., all the professional racers, they've all raced this, yada yada. Gordo has been here the whole time, and if it wasn't for people like Gordo, this game would have ended a long time ago. So this
I'll
sim would
second
have
that.
ended a long time ago. So that right there, that guy has always been a friend to us in this league, and we cannot tell him how much we appreciate him stopping by and having some fun with us.
I see Randy out there in the chat says he is painting a dirt late model for Gordo right now. So, yeah, hopefully Gordo, I think he had some fun racing in the dirt, and he's planning on being back to race a little bit more dirt with us on the late nights on Friday and Saturday.
No, Saturday.
At least
Can't
he's gonna
run.
come show off
Saturday.
some paint.
Yeah,
There you go. There you
Gordo-
go. That's a big deal, my friends. Sure is. And like I said, we appreciate Gordo coming out and hanging out with us. So that's a great deal.
Yeah, I talked to Gordo, and he said Friday nights they have a late night thing going on. He can't make it, but Saturday night he plans to be a regular in the dirt. So we surely will be glad to have Gordo come run in the dirt with us.
Well, let's take a look at the points in this series. This was just a short mini series, 3 races. This is the second race in with 1 to go. And currently it is BSR Ricky J holding on to that top spot with, dang, I can't believe it. Myself, BSR Texan, with a decent race, moved up 4 spots to take over second, only down by 6 points. I don't think I've ever been this high in the points in a dirt series before, so I'm kind of proud of that, being up there in second place, even though it is just a short series, but it's the same. I like being up there.
Yes, and what you need to remember here is there's only 1 race to go, but every position is moved by 2 points in this. So realistically, Brian Boyle still has a shot at the championship, even with 1 race to go.
Yeah, every position 2 points, plus you get the point for the stage win as well. We got Burko sitting right there in 3rd place, down by 11. Monty Keller in 4th, down by 12. And Hot Rod rounding out the top 5, down by 15.
Well, Furco, I forgot about him. He got some jerky for some dirt series stuff work back there last week or so. So yeah,
Yes, I think he finished 3rd in that Drunken Cow Jerky dirt series.
Yeah, this is the little short three little week segment that Larry and I were using, kind of a test and just to get caught up, so that these dirt series will be in sync on Friday and Saturday nights, and we'll have all the information posted and everything like that. It's just a little break in the scheduling here so that we can get caught back up.
Now, I wanted to mention these. You see a couple names there. I see Randy and Gordo. The names are grayed out there in the point standings. I believe that it's either because their racing name doesn't match what
Their game name.
game name, yeah, or their race LM name doesn't match, or maybe it's just they haven't checked the box in that series. That could be that as well.
No, the box doesn't do it. It's their login name has to match their racing name, I believe is what it is.
Right, but the points do still count, even though the names are grayed out. Points still count.
Just makes them a little harder to see, that's all.
I also wanted to talk a little bit before we move on about that drawing that we had on Friday night. I was just able to go back, and I didn't watch it live when it happened, but I will be able to the next time because I saved that father and son racing page to my favorites. But I went back and watched that drawing, and man, I think that's a great format, the way HB and Diddy did that drawing there, the way they did that drawing live, and was able to broadcast it. He put the numbers in the hat, pulled each one of them out, put them up to the camera. There's no question about, the straight upness of that drawing. I really thought that was, that's a great way to do those drawings. And I hope that, we do them just like that. Any other time we have a drawing for Drunken Cow Jerky, hopefully HB's around and he can do those drawings just like that for us again.
HB, we all got a kick out of it. Our good friend Chevy Chase pointed out that during the drawing, we noticed that Danny would actually turn his head and look the other way when he drew.
No,
Yeah.
there was no bias in that drawing whatsoever.
And Chevy said, "Now that right there is how," he said, "that's how you do an honest drawing. Look, he's turning his head every time he draws a number." And that was a great thing. That was a good little thing that what we did there, having that drawing. So that worked out really well. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, no problem. We both turned our heads and kind of had to feel around for each other to see
It
where the number was. There was no bias in it.
It was actually, see, that's to explain to everybody the reason we did it that way was see, Danny and HB had already won jerky in the Drunken Cow Jerky race Thursday, so they were ineligible for the drawings. So they did the drawings because I thought I might be eligible for the drawings, and if I do the drawings, it's hard for me to take jerky if I draw my own number, even if I try to do it fair and square. So I had to set up something else where I could possibly be eligible, but I wasn't eligible either. But that drawing deal worked out great.
Good for me.
Yeah, Magoo got 3 bags out of that drawing.
Yeah, that's what I was. I had a little bit of hardship in that race. I had a little better finishing car than where I finished, but it wound up finishing in the top prize position in 10th spot. Because that wound up winning me.
Because of the drawing, right, Goop?
That's right, because of the drawing. First place won nothing. But yeah, it was a good night for me at Texas.
Well, let's
Another hometown boy there too.
let's do our usual here as we get towards the end of the broadcast. We're going to take a little bit of time here. We're going to thank all of our sponsors. First up, we'd like to thank Mark and Richard Heyman over at Drunken Cow Jerky. We'd like to thank Brian and Kathy Boyles from Boyles Trucking. We'd like to thank Rick Craddock over at Realtech LLC, BSR Scar from WLS Graphics, BSR RJ Rusty at the Medicine Chest Pharmacy, and BSR Tyler and Rhoda at Hello Sunshine Hello. We love all of everything that all of you guys do for us. Drunken Cow Jerky providing a lot of great beef jerky. Boyles Trucking, Kathy and Brian also providing a lot of great jerky along with a lot of the plaques that they provide and other prizes. Everything that they do here for us at BSR. Rick Craddock over at Realtech LLC went above and beyond this week here in the Chase and sponsored the Realtech Texas Challenge, which Pockets was the victor of. BSR Scar, of course, all week, all season, all the renders that he does, most all of the logos that you see for any of these series, all the stuff we show up here on the spotter stand, most of that all comes from BSR Scar over at WLS Graphics. So he's working hard all season long. BSR RJ Rusty over at the Medicine Chest Pharmacy, the sponsor of that Polar Bear 500. You saw that t-shirt I was wearing earlier, and every driver that participated in that race got a shirt just like that. BSR Tyler and Rhoda over at Hello Sunshine Hello have also recently provided some t-shirts to a lot of drivers for some racing that went on earlier in the season. And we appreciate everything all of you guys do for us all season long, and you make BSR a really great place to race. So hats off to all of the sponsors and all of the great drivers that we have here at BSR. Some of the greatest guys out there, not just on the track, but on TeamSpeak every night. We all have a blast getting together, talking with each other, talking during the race. And, I couldn't think of a better place or a better group of people to race with every week. And I really enjoyed the racing here at BSR. And, thanks to all of you guys, all the admins that pitch in and make this league what it is. It's awesome.
Hey, I can't add nothing to that. He said it all, I believe. Thanks, everyone.
I believe he did. See ya.
we'll see you guys next week at Phoenix. Thanks, Phoenix. Thanks all for tuning in,
What?
watching. Thanks for watching us live, and we'll have another great show for you next week at Phoenix.
Roger.